Welcome everyone. So what I've got for you today is creating a timeline activity. It's more really of a presentation using H5P. And this is one of the coolest modules on H5P. It's really cool for just doing timelines or presentations in general. So you can add audio, video, images, text. You can add eras. So you can see down here, this is my timeline. You can zoom out to see all the events on the timeline. You can zoom in. It's got the dates, the times, and it's got the different events. So this is my introduction page, and it has a video, and it's got a really cool full screen feature here. So if I click on full screen, it just looks like a nice presentation here. Video from YouTube, you can embed
the story of writing, astronomy, and law. The story of civilization itself begins in one place. Not Egypt, not Greece, not Rome, but Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is an exceedingly fertile plain situated between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. For 5 millennia, this small strip of land situated in what is today Iraq, Kuwait, and Syria.
So you can see that, you can full screen it, you can watch it, and I decided to do the history of Iraq, a timeline, because there are so many events. So I thought it would be cool. And what you can do is you can click on the different events, or you can click on the navigation arrows to go to the next events. So the first event starts at 3500 BC with Sumer civilizations. It's got pictures, captions, it's got tags as well to group certain events together, the title, and then just a description, text description. You can add a background to the presentation if you wanted, but I decided to leave it. And it's cool because it just jumps from one event to the other. And you also have events that take place over a period of time. You see this blue line down here. That means this event didn't happen overnight, but it happened over a period of time. And you can also just scroll through and click on the events individually. And so here, when we get to the 1900s, there are a lot of events. What you can do is you can zoom in, and then when you zoom in, it just makes it easier to look at the events and what happens. And it tells you the year here. And you can just scroll through and see and study, and it goes all the way to the end. And when you're done, you can just escape, and you can go all the way back to the beginning. This is a really cool module, and I'm going to show you how to create this module. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. Alright, let's take a look at how to create this on H5P. Let's get started. Creating a timeline using H5P on WordPress. So the first thing you want to do is go down to your H5P content, and you want to add a new activity. And from the module list, you want to select the module called timeline. If you don't have it, what you can do is you can click on get to install it, and then you click on it to start creating this activity. So you want to give this a title. We'll just call it timeline. And the headline, this is the headline that will show inside the activity. And we'll call this History of Iraq. And for the body text, we just give it a short explanation or a description. And I'll just say this is a timeline of the history of Iraq starting 35 BC to today. Zoom level, you want to keep the zoom level at 0. You don't want to zoom in the timeline or zoom out depending on the time period. But for us, we'll just keep it the way it is at 0, the default. What you can do is you can add a background to your timeline. Otherwise, it will just be a white background. So if you have an image that you want to have as a background, you can do that. But you should choose something lightly colored, not so overpowering. We'll leave this. I don't want to really add any backgrounds. I think it looks cleaner without one. This is the height of the background image and the height of the activity. Then keep it as it is. Under assets, with the assets you can add a video or a picture to be in the front slide or the front page. That will have the title, the description, and then it will have a picture or a video if you want. The image background or the background image, that will be there for the whole entire timeline, not just the first page. But this asset right here, the media, will be just on the first page. So what I did is I found a quick YouTube video, kind of an introduction. So I'll just grab that and I'll put the link here. So you can use YouTube, Twitter, Flickr, Vimeo, Google Maps, SoundCloud, and you can also use any image if you upload it to your own website, WordPress website, and I'll show you how to do that later on when we're adding our slides or our points in our timeline. Credits, I don't have any credits. Captions, just call it introduction to Iraq's history, just to show you what the caption will look like. So we're done with the front page. So this is the front page, the intro page, kind of like the welcome page. And then once you're done with that, you can start adding your dates. And you start with obviously the start date, and you end with the end date. But here's the thing, so this field right here only accepts dates, so it only accepts numbers. So numbers and commas. So for example, if you want to start at today, say 2021, month 05, and then the day, say 10. So you'd have May 10th, 2021. At minimum, you need the year. If you don't have a year, if you don't have any numbers, it won't let you do anything. It doesn't do anything. So that's the first thing. The second thing is adding dates that are BC. So if you want to add a date that is BC, or also called BCE, what you have to do is you have to add a negative sign before the date. So our dates will start at 3500 BC. So this is how I would write it: 3500 BC minus 3500 BC. The way this module reads it is 3500 BC, and it will assign the BC label automatically. So it knows what happened. It knows the date. So our first date is 35 to 3300 BC. And the headline, this is basically the title of that timeline. I'll call it Sumer Civilization, and we give a short description. This is the body text. You give a short description of that civilization or of that timeline point, and I'll just paste that here. So we have our headline, we have our body text. Tags, we don't really need any tags, but You can have categories within your timeline. Maybe we should add it. So let's just give this a tag that is called Sumer. We're not done yet. We still can add a picture and a thumbnail. So the picture will show up next to the text, next to the headline and the body text, and the thumbnail will show in the bottom in the timeline. We can have a thumbnail. So the way it's set up here, it's asking for a URL. You can put a YouTube video, or if you have a link to a picture, you can put it here. If you want to add a picture from your website, what you can do is you can click on media and then go to your library. So let me do that. Let me go to my library here. I have all the photos that I've uploaded before. I know this is the picture I want to use. I click on it and I have a file URL here. I can copy the file URL. I can come back and I can just paste my URL into here, and that should be okay for the picture. For the thumbnail, I choose the same picture, but this one I have to grab locally from my machine. I find it and I add it, and I have the caption here that I put somewhere at the start. So I have now my first item completed. I have my dates, headlines, body text, tag that I wanted to add, the media, the picture, and the little caption here. So I'm gonna add another timeline, call it a frame or a time, and then we'll take a look at what it looks like. So the second one starts at 3300 BC, but it doesn't really have a time span, but there's no time span here, so it just goes from 33 to 33. This is something that happened. It's an event that happened. It's not a period. So the headline here we can call writing. For the body text, we'll say writing is invented by the Sumerians. For the tag, we got Sumer, and then we got writing. See what that looks like. For the assets, I'll do the same thing again. I'll go back to my library. I find the picture that I want, which is right here. I copy the link to the clipboard. I come back and I add it, and then I choose the thumbnail from my computer. And for caption, I can just add Sumerian writing. So now I have my two events on the timeline. I have my introduction page. What I can do is I can create this and see what it looks like. So I have my front page, I have my title, I have my description, and I also have the video that I linked from YouTube and the caption for the video from YouTube.
The story of writing, astronomy.
I can play that. Also, this whole activity or this whole presentation could be full screened and it looks much better. But let me and I have my timeline right under this, and the timeline has the two events that I set up, one at 3500 3300 BC, the other one at 3300 BC. You can see it starts at 4000 BC. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can return to the first page, or you can go to the next event by clicking on the picture here, or by using the navigation arrows on top. So this is the first event and it happened. This is the time. I got the tag right here, title, body, picture, and then caption right under the picture. So this is the tag here, and I got the tags here as well. So you can add only one tag at a time. I see you can't separate them with commas. And then I go to the next picture. That's what it looks like. So I'm gonna jump back in very quickly here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the rest of my events, and this will take a while, so I'll probably just fast forward through this. So all I'll be doing is just adding new items, and I'll add an item and add the information. After that, we will go through the eras option. Okay, so I'm done adding all the events that I wanted to add, and I've added about 40 events here. So you can see starting at 3500 BC all the way until 2011, 40 events. So also what we can add here, now that our dates or our timeline should be separated because we're going from BC to AD, what you can do is you can add eras here. So what you can do is add an era and designate what the era is. So the start date of this era, we'll say 4000 BC, negative 4000, and the end is 0, or let's say, I don't know, negative 1. 0. Headline, so this is called, just call this BC. I'll just call this is the BC era. I really don't have anything better. So BC, no tags. And I also want to add another era. I want to call this era AD. So this starts at 1, and let's say it goes all the way to 2021, just today or this year. Headline, I'll call this AD. Text, this is the AD era. Language, I'll keep it English. So I have now 2 eras, and I have 40 events spanning over these 2 eras. For all of my events, I really didn't do anything different. All I did was add the year, the headline, the text for the body. Sometimes I added tags, sometimes I didn't. Then I added the pictures, the thumbnails, and sometimes I added captions, sometimes I didn't. So let's take a look at what our timeline looks like now. And I'm gonna update to see what it looks like. Did this in a hurry, so it might have some mistakes in it. So still the same thing here, but I can see that my timeline has gotten a little bit smaller. The items on it have gotten a little bit smaller. All right, let me zoom back in and let me just go through this timeline. So right now you see this is the BC, 4000 BC. This is where we wanted to start our timeline. And then right here from 0 AD, starting AD, and we're going all the way to 2021 was the last time I wanted, or the last year that I wanted. Alright, let me go back to the beginning and let's just go through this. So we've got pictures. So the background is white because we didn't choose a background. I think it looks better. You don't want a background for all of this. And sometimes you see there's blue line down here. So this event went on from 1250 BC until 750. So we have this blue line to indicate that this was not just something that happened overnight, but it's a period, an event that took place during a period of time. Capital, Great Library, and I've got events that go on, and I guess just click it as fast as I can. And at the end, we have a lot of events right here. So after the 1900s, we have a lot of events. And another thing here, so you guys see the tags, they're kind of transparent. Starts with Akkad, Assyrians, Almites, Gilgamesh, Sumer, and Sumer writing. So actually there is a significance to this because the events, for example, this event has the tag Sumer right here. This is the tag Sumer. It will show up on this row right here, the Sumer row. This event has Sumer and writing. It showed up right here on this line that says Sumer and writing. Gilgamesh showed up here on the same row. So that's how the tags are important. That's how you can manipulate where things are or where these things show up. What I would do is I would probably get rid of the tags unless I wanted to use them or they had some type of significance. So for example, what you can do is maybe for tags, you add tags like ages, like the Bronze Age or the Golden Age or the Stone Age. You add the ages, that way the events happening in each age would show up on a specific row. That would be a good way to separate. So to get this on your website, what you want to do is you want to get your shortcode, copy it, and you want to add it in a post or a page. In this case, I'm going to add it to a new page, new post, sorry. So add new post. Okay, so this is my new post. I'll call it 23 timeline, and you want to add a new block that is a shortcode block right here, and you want to paste your shortcode into it. You want to publish, yes, and once it's published, you want to view the post and see what it looks like. Okay, so it looks nice. I actually really like the way it's laid out, especially with this full screen. When you full screen it, it looks totally different. It just looks like a really nice presentation. You can just walk through it or scroll through it, click on whatever you want, it'll take you there. And we got our two eras are kind of separated here, different color, and you can add more arrows. So I added very basic, very lazy BCAD eras, but you can use the eras to separate it with more significant meaning, add more meaning to your timeline. But this is basically my timeline. You can add this as part of a interactive workbook. It would be very nice. So if you had a workbook for history or anything else, you can add this for students or users to study or look at. Or you can just have it standalone. This is one of the few activities that could be standalone, and you can just add it to your website. If you have any questions, any comments, if I did do anything that you thought was wrong or any way to improve this, please let me know. Any feedback would be great. That is it. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.